Hey everybody, this is Jessica Lynn from JessicaLynnOriginal Studios, and today we're going to take a look at a very fun family destination in Wisconsin. Welcome to Jerry Smith's farm, located in Kenosha, Wisconsin. It is a true Midwest treasure that's been celebrating the beauty of the season for decades. This family-run farm, bursting with local-grown produce, homemade treats, and all the cozy charm of the Midwest, are right here in their beautiful country store. So whether you're planning a weekend road trip, hunting for the perfect fall photo shoot, or if you're visiting other times of the year, they really do have you covered. And what I love is that there is two sections, which is the way that they have divided this out. So in the front, they have got, obviously, here's a country store. And if you want to do any of these extra things, we're going to take a look at that in just a minute. But I first want to tell you about the things where there's no admission or no cost to you, okay? So there are these beautiful hand-painted fall displays. So these are all created using pumpkins. Some of them are truly just like stand-up, stuff like that. So really what it is a true photo op all over the farm. So you can go and get your picture with pumpkins for like How to Train Your Dragon. Or there's Mario, there's Marvel characters, there's tons of Disney, there is Bugs Bunny, there are quite a few different Disney movies like Hocus Pocus, Moana, etc. There's also The Wizard of Oz and Wicked. So it takes you easily, if you go through every one of these, I would say easily about a half an hour. And this is perfect. Like if you have little kids and this is kind of their first fall activity, this is so much fun. We've done this with our kids for years, where you go and you take pictures, and some of the stand-ups come back, some of them don't. But it's really fun to be able to get all those photo opportunities. They also have obviously free parking, which is huge. I mean, that's great. And then they have some animals that are kind of out and about that you can go and visit. They've also got in this area a DJ, and then off on the left-hand side, they've got a ton of already pre-picked pumpkins. They're all set up. And what's really cool is they're all set up by different size. So at the end of the video, I'll kind of give you an idea of what that looks like so you can see it. But it's nice because you don't have to worry about going into the farm and picking them yourself. You just kind of wander over and pick which ones you're looking for. And then they have wheelbarrows to help you. So we will talk about the other section in just a minute, but I want to kind of give you an idea of what this looks like because it is a lot. Like there's more than just like one or two things. There's a ton. The other thing that we really enjoyed was the fact that you could just sort of wander at your own will. It wasn't like you had to stay in a line or anything like that. So, I mean, that was nice. If you go back to that front area, there is a beverage garden where they do have like craft beers, Bloody Marys, seasonal cocktails, coffee shack that you can hit before you hit the rest of your activities. So it's really nice that you can kind of get through some of that and just sort of be able to wander and enjoy. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of the fun that they have, and then we'll head back to the second half of their farm in just a moment. And I just wanted to throw one more thing in there, is that I did see that they had their 50th anniversary when I was filming this. I didn't realize that until we got there. But it is amazing to say something about the longevity of a company who has been doing something so family old school feel, right? Like, you know, your family goes, we pick pumpkins, we go and carve them. So congratulations on 50 years. I mean, that's amazing in itself. So let's go ahead and finish looking at these, and then at the end we'll head back over and we'll take a look at the rest of the farm. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at their activity area. Now, it does require a ticket, but this is really where the adventure begins. So, admission price for this section costs anywhere between $9 to $17 a person, depending on the day and whether you pay with cash or with credit card. Now, the warning I will give you is that they will charge every person, even if you are not going to partake in any of the activities and just wander around. So if you have a family of 5 or 6, just know that is per person, period. So my suggestion to you would be to definitely, go ahead and watch this video, see if this is something that, you are interested in, and then you can decide before you get there if this is going to be an investment that you want to make. There's a lot to do. My kids are 8 and 12, and they had a good time. I think, there's that sweet spot age somewhere probably between like 5 to 8 where I think this is a perfect thing. I don't think there's a lot for the older kids to do, but it was a really fun experience. So we went ahead and checked it out. We did pay for this ourselves, and the day that we attended, it was a Saturday, and it was $17 a person. And we did pay with credit card, so that's why it was an extra $2 per person. So the things that we got included, obviously you can see there's all types of activities. So they've got the huge pile of sand, they've got playground equipment, they've got these, which were so cute. Like, I think I might actually have to make these for next year for trick or treat. I think this would be so much fun for, like, if kids came to trick or treat at my house, maybe I'd say if you try this and you win, maybe you get a bigger treat, a bigger prize or something. But it was so cute. The kids loved that. It was just ring toss. But it was still cute just because they were adorable. So that was included as well. As we continue along, there is unlimited hayrides. Now, I will tell you, it's not really hayrides. It's actually a tractor that pulls a wagon. One of the things I did like, though, is that there was a lot of shade. You can see they built, areas where you could go in and get food and then be able to sit in the shade. They also had really nice fencing to keep it organized. If you look, you can see there's also photo opportunities back here. And there were a lot more animals on this side. There was also bubbles, and then there's a giant bounce pads, which we're going to take a look at in just a minute. They had Tire Mountain, the sand hill that we saw earlier. And then there was also tons of other games around the backside. So I'll take you through and show you all of that. I would say, this is one of those things where I would encourage you to really look at what it is, and depending on what your budget is, the only downside that I noticed to them was that they had a lot of a la carte things. So, for example, if you wanted to have your kids go on a camel ride, it was an extra $10. They had a haunted house there that was an extra $15. Face painting was extra money as well. They also had in the back where you could do paintball shooting, and that was an extra fee. So I think when I'm already paying $17 a person, whether I was going to do any of it, right? So if I was just going to go walk with my kids did everything, I felt like it was a little on the expensive side, especially right now in our economy and everything like that. I just think this is maybe like if you have a couple of kids, more than 2 or 3, I think this can be extremely pricey, So I guess what I would say is think about when you're planning your day, is this going to have enough for you and your family to do that'll entertain you for the day? Or would you be better off at a different location? Because there are lots and lots of pumpkin farms all over Wisconsin. And you might be able to, there's some that I know of around the area where you get a pumpkin. Every person who leaves gets a pumpkin when they leave. So then that means, I don't have to buy an extra pumpkin. So if you take that in consideration, that now you paid X amount of dollars, plus everybody got camel rides, plus everybody got face painting, and then you want to walk away with pumpkins, it can be a very expensive day. So that's my only thought was there was just too much a la carte, especially when you were already charging me to come in to this area. So that would be my only downfall. Oh, there also is little animals. So we'll go see them in a minute too. So there was little animals that you can, in a farm where you can hold a pig or a cow and you can feed them. And that was, of course, a la carte as well. So I think to charge me to get into an a la carte, an area, and then to charge me additional a la carte was just kind of a surprise. What I do want to say is this, because of course it sounds negative when I say that, but it's not meant to be. It's just meant that if you're planning a trip, I want you to make sure you budget accordingly so that you're not surprised and then you have to tell your kids no, right? So I will say though, because it's easy to talk about the negative, right? But what I will say is that the land itself was beautifully maintained. The corn was beautifully organized. Like, it was nice. It was clean. They also had a corn maze you could have gone through. We did not go through the corn maze, but you could have. I'll say that all of the equipment seemed to be in really good shape. There are some pumpkin farms that I've gone to where the equipment is in horrible shape. And, they want me to have my kids play on it, and I'm questioning that, right? So I'll say that it was beautifully well maintained. And again, I'll say also that in their tough economy right now, I mean, it does cost money to make all of this work. So I understand why, as someone who owns her own business, I completely understand why things cost what they do. But I just think that some of this stuff, too much a la carte when you're already in a gated area where they're charging me to be in, just seemed a little excessive. Now, this little area was so cute. They had all the little baby animals. They had sheep. Now, again, like I told you, a la carte, you could go in and pet them, and you could hold them and feed them. But you could also just go in there and take pictures and hang out with them and pet them. And they were very, very friendly. Again, good part of a farm, right? That they love them and take care of them. But the animals are sweet and loving. They had the little pigs, which, oh my goodness, I did a short, in case you haven't seen it, where I walked up to the little pigs and they were so cute. The goats were sweet. They had a baby cow that at the time when we were there, he was, I think, 2 weeks old, which is crazy. Like, he was just the sweetest little thing, which, I mean, a baby cow. How can you help yourself, right? But it was fun. They also had baby goats that you could go in and pay to hold. But again, the baby goats would come up to you if you just wanted to pet them. Also, they had plenty of bathrooms, which again, wonderful. This was those double bounce pads, so you found all the kids were there. And that was fun. Like, my kids just loved it. We spent quite a bit of time there. That was really all they wanted to do was the jump pad. So we did that for quite a bit of time. As I scroll over, you can see there's still plenty of seating. Again, lots of undercover, which I like, so we can enjoy and not if it was too warm, which this year we had kind of a warm fall. There's also, back there, you can see there's a train going through, which was crazy. There's that paintball to the right. You can see that over there. And again, in this area, I mean, I think the best part about this back area was because of cost, it wasn't completely packed. So there was a lot of space. We had the kids could go and play on as many different things as they wanted. I do think, as a suggestion for next year, I think they need a couple more teenager/adult things that they can do in this other paid area. A lot of the teenagers didn't want to climb the tires or do any of that. So I think if they added some more games for them, maybe some cornhole, maybe some more basketball, because there were a couple basketball hoops, maybe some other... I've seen where some of them have done where they take pumpkins and you can try and get them into different things, maybe some skee ball kind of stuff. Something like that I think could really help sort of get those teenagers something, just a little bit more stuff to do. We really enjoyed the bounce area. They also have a full concessions area, which was really good. We ended up getting brats, which were well cooked, and the buns were toasty, and they had all of the ketchup, mayo, all the stuff you need. They also had coffee. My husband was going to get a coffee, but we decided not to. But they have, again, all that stuff. And one of the things that's nice is that, again, we talked about earlier, parking is free for this area. The farm is open, rain or shine. And the thing is that you don't have to pay to come to this back area. So everything we looked at in the first 8 minutes of the video, where I showed you all those pumpkins you can get pictures with and picking out your pumpkins and the store, all of that's free. So this area is truly just an optional area. And, you know, it's really up to you. Again, how long do you want to spend there? I mean, if you want to get your money's worth, I would easily say you should spend a majority of the day hanging out there. They also had the puddle carts, which they do allow adults, which was hilarious because they were way too big to be doing that. And this is the hot lava maze. My kids laughed. They were so tall so they could see straight over it. And there was always one kid hanging on the lava. Alright, so where we are now is we have actually already exited that paid area. So we're back up by where all the pumpkins, where you can, you know, get your picture with them. So basically what it was, I kind of made a big loop for us. So we walked down through the pumpkins, into the paid area, came back out, and now we're going to come up the other back side of the farm. Straight ahead, there is that haunted house. And again, there is an additional fee per person to go in there. So again, you know, when you're looking at costs of things, is it better to go and just find a regular haunted house, or is it better to what, right? So just, you know, what I would encourage you to do, I'm going to put their website down below. Go ahead and price out, you know, if you're interested in doing all of the other stuff in the back, you know, just make sure you come up with a budget that you're ready to go and that you're comfortable with so that you're not surprised. Now, again, we're in the free area again, so up here in the front, you can see off to the left, they have got all of these pumpkins and a huge display celebrating 50 years. I can't say, but if I ever was to get big enough here on YouTube, I can't say that I wouldn't want to own a pumpkin farm. I think I've got some really fun ideas. I'd like to own a pumpkin farm / Halloween, like maze and house kind of thing. Like, I think that would be an amazing dream. So please, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and support my channel and help me get to that point, because that would be so cool to then manifest that and be able to share that with you guys. Now, these are all the pumpkins that are pre-picked. They had beautiful ones. I always love an interesting pumpkin, right? So I like a tall, interesting pumpkin with, you know, bumps and whatever, because I always think that's fun to incorporate into the design. One year I actually found one where it had something that almost looked like a nose, and so I actually made that the nose, so it actually had 2 carved eyes and then the nose. But you can see they have tons of different sizes. These are the bigger ones. They do have the swan gourds. They have white pumpkins, green pumpkins, tall, all of the above. And it's just fun to go and look at them. And it's always fun because I can tell from my family, I always know which kind of pumpkins they're each going to get, because every year they always gravitate toward the same ones. Up straight ahead, you can see they do have a bar area up there, so that's where you can get the coffees and the iced teas, and they have some drinks up there as well, and craft beers. So definitely, you know, you can make a whole morning doing this area and not even ever go to the back. On the other side, if we turn around, I think we're going to do that in a second. Oh, see, there's a fun one. Look at him. He was probably laying in the patch sideways for a while when they picked him. On the other side, you can see there's the swan ones, which my stepdad always used to put like googly eyes on them and make them look like swans, which was fun. But there's tons of different gorgs, you know, so if you want to make something fun, or even just a Thanksgiving, you know, centerpiece. And then we're going to go through the store in just a minute. But what I do want to say is that I think that my biggest note to everyone is just plan what your goals are for something like this, you know. What do you want to spend? Because you can spend nothing and just go and take pictures. You could spend a ton, right? So it just really depends on the experience you want to have. I do want to say that I completely support small business. So, you know, go out there, go, and if it's not this pumpkin farm, pick another one or any of those. Go and support small business, because they are really struggling these days to, and not necessarily, like I said, this farm, but other, you know, people. But, you know, go and support small business, because they are the ones really trying to be that grassroots, so that someday when your kids have kids, that they get to go and have experiences like this. You know, if we get them all closed, I don't know if it'll be the same experience for your grandchildren or great-grandchildren in the future if all they can do is go to a big mass-produced grocery store to pick a pumpkin there and then come home and pretend it's fun to carve it. So please know supporting small businesses like this is so important. These pumpkins were huge. Oh my goodness. Look, 500 pounds plus. I can't even imagine. Can you imagine carving that? Like, what would you even carve into that? I don't even know. It'd have to be something amazing. The other thing I thought was great is inside the store, they had all kinds of handmade things. So I guess from the story, and I don't know the family, but it looks like, the family really started this as sort of a homegrown, we do everything. We make cookies, we sell the food, we make the donuts, we do all of that stuff. And I love that. And so I love that there are recipes that their grandmother used to make, and now they're making them. So I think that's awesome to keep those kind of traditions moving forward. I think traditions and family adventures, which is why I started this channel. I wanted to share with you ideas, thoughts. Again, I'm a mom too, and I'm planning and trying to make things amazing for my family. And so I love having this channel to be able to share with you guys, family traditions and things to go do together. And oh my gosh, this ghost. Does anybody remember those ghosts? The ones that used to do the ooh. They didn't do that, but they look like the ones. It just reminded me of that. But I love this little store because it really, I'm going to guess, and again, I'm not part of the family, but I'm sure the way it felt was that, somebody started by making this, and then they added that, and then they made honeys, and then they made, all kinds of stuff. And when you go on their website, they also offer year-round stuff as well, which I think is awesome. So example, like during the rest of the year, they also offer all kinds of fruits and vegetables. And if you want at Christmas, they do Christmas trees. You can go get a Christmas tree there. So be sure to go and support small business. And let's go ahead and just finish out looking. Oh, I've done a lot of that today, right? My family loves the donuts. They ended up getting them. And oh my gosh, some of the best donuts they've ever had. So definitely go and get that. Well, I'll go and close it here. I just want to say thank you so much. Being able to do this is truly one of my dreams. I love being able to travel on and share this with you. So please go ahead and subscribe. It costs nothing. If you'd like to, I'm going to be starting in January a really fun walking club. So I'll explain more of that soon as I continue to expand this channel. I can't believe we're over 55,000. I cannot wait to hit that 100,000 mark. Thank you guys. I'm going to pop up a couple of videos for you to watch, and I'll see you again real soon. Take care, everybody.